Good evening, adventurers, and welcome back to the maze. I am the Master of Mazes, Carl, and with me, as always, is the apprentice, Stephen.
Hey,
Uh, Welcome to MazeCast number 22.
22.
We are happy to have you guys with us. We hope you will stick it out to the end. We ask you to smash that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing and share this video with as many people as you care to. If you share it with everybody, including total strangers, we are totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
We'd also encourage you to drop us some comments and engage with us and let us know what you like, what you don't like, and what you'd like to see us talk about in the future. We are very open to feedback, so long as it's constructive, and we want to give you guys what you're looking for. So stick with us as we get into things. Let's get into next weekend. So Thursday night into Friday morning, the 20th, I will be hitting the road. The Master of Mazes will be heading north out of Georgia and heading to Virginia back home so that I can visit in person with the apprentice and his lovely family
Mm-hmm.
out in the city he lives in, out close to Chesapeake Bay area. I'm
Yep.
super ecstatic to kind of get back to Virginia and see my son in person. And then I'm also going to be meeting in person the rest of the players from
Mm-hmm.
the Master and Apprentice campaign as we all go to GalaxyCon Richmond, which is in town Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to get in some shorts for you guys. We're going to try to get in some gaming and maybe some interviews with some of the people that we find on site. So be on the lookout for those. Shorts will be going up on YouTube. We'll have write-ups on the website and things like that for you guys to check out. So
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Me
I
too.
know that Steven's excited about it. I think the rest
Yeah,
of our
we
hosts will
we've
be
been to
excited
this
about it.
one. It's been years, but we've been to this one. Maddie's
Yeah,
never been to anything like this, so I know she's really
yeah,
excited as well. So I
yeah.
think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time. So look forward to those things. We'll have photos for you guys. We'll drop short videos and things like that so that you guys can see what the convention's like. So in case you have ever thought about going, you'll kind of get a better feel for what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
So support your small conventions or they go away.
Yep.
Um, Gaming news. So immediately following this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
the apprentice and I will be jumping into the Master and Apprentice game. So
Yep.
we'll be starting that in about 30, 45 minutes. So if we kind of go through this one a little fast, you'll have to just be patient with us, and we
Mm-hmm.
apologize in advance as we're kind of on a time crunch tonight. But we will have that recap. There's a recap for last week's session up.
Yep.
Our as the apprentice put that up for us. It's great. I like the fact he's writing it from Aldor's perspective. I think it gives a really unique perspective to hear it from the character rather than me as the DM just kind of regurgitating what we went through. So
Mm-hmm.
read that. It's on our website. We will have a link for that down in the show notes for you guys to check it out and leave us comments on what you guys think. Um, we will also have a recap for tonight's episode up probably, I'd say, middle, probably end of next week, probably before we go to the convention, so you guys can
Yep.
have that a look at that. Kingdom of Keshinar. So we played our D&D 5e compatible Kingdom of Keshinar Egyptian setting game last night. We had a blast. We had a guest star with us. My friend Darren was down from Kentucky. So I worked him into the campaign as a rogue who had been hired by a information broker in the city of Keshinar to follow the siblings and to ensure that they were successful in their mission of retrieving this relic that the pharaoh had sent them into the vaults of Dumat for. So hilarity ensued almost immediately as things immediately went off the rails, not in a direction I thought they would go. So I was left pivoting and trying to play catch up with them basically all night. So a lot of fun, a lot of touching moments too. Some things we'll touch on later in the episode here, but we had a great time. So we'll have a recap of that up for you guys tomorrow, Monday at the outside, so you guys can check that out and let us know what you think. The Order of the Flagon. We told you guys last week that we've had some problems with scheduling, and we have. Unfortunately, spring is here. Life has a tendency of whenever you're trying to schedule a D&D game to happen so that you can't schedule your D&D game. So several of my players have young children that are involved in sports and things like that, after school activities, which has made scheduling things on weekends almost impossible. But we are going to play this coming Monday, the 16th at 6 p.m. So we'll have some photos and a recap up of that for you guys, probably mid to late next week. So be on the lookout for that over on mastersmaze.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into some TTRPG news. Stephen made me aware of something I did not know was on the horizon, and I'm pretty excited about it. Stephen, take it away.
Well, if you're like me, you grew up in the age of HeroClix. Still remember the original box set of I think it was called Hyperspeed or something. It was the original box DC set that had Superman fighting Brainiac on the front. Um,
Yeah,
and the Marvel set came right after. I remember getting Black Panther. I didn't even know who Black Panther was back then, but I got him. I thought his mini was so cool. Um,
yeah.
HeroClix are still going, but I've just kind of phased out of them. But recently, WizKids announced that D&D is dropping a HeroClix series. Series 1 is coming out the end of this year.
I
Um,
mean, I had no idea.
they've done like tiny little releases before. I don't even know if they were officially HeroClix or not, but this will
Mm-hmm.
be. It's slated for an October 2026 release. There's going to be 60 miniatures, including
Mm-hmm.
monsters like goblins, kobolds, orcs, and they're also going to
Right.
include adventurer classes like elf, wizard, a human paladin, stuff like that. So they'll have like adventurers and monsters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Early pricing, which is probably subject to change if I know WizKids, is going to be $28 for a booster, which is 3 minis, one oversized mini, um, and then the cards that go with them. If you don't know, newer
Mm-hmm.
HeroClix have like their own cards that come with them that kind of explain their
Right.
powers, which I wish they had in the original because
Yeah.
I remember when they started doing cards with them, I was like, wow, this helps a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but boosters, which looks to be at least 3 minis and then one oversized mini, is 28. A booster brick is 8 boosters. That's looking to be about $230. That's about standard for HeroClix. Just looking online, so I don't think it doesn't seem like it's a gouge fest or anything. But I'm pretty excited. So I mean, I know we're at least going to get a few of these boosters.
Oh yeah.
Some of the
Absolutely.
art online, I'm not sure if it's the official art of Series 1 or just minis from before. So I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
post, I probably won't post any art yet until they confirm that that's the Series 1 clicks. But when they do, we'll probably post like a community post or Instagram post or something so y'all can see that. But we're excited for that. I love Hero Clicks. I loved Horror Clicks, which I don't have time to get into right now, but I think Horror Clicks got
They
shafted.
were
I
awesome.
thought they were so cool, and they got like 2 releases and then they were canned, and I hated that because I loved it. It was one of the
Yeah.
only miniature games that I actually went out of my way and played in shops against other players because I just love
Yeah.
the idea of both players were basically bad and you were fighting over killing survivors on the board, and
Right.
you could play good survivors to counter the enemy monsters and stuff. It was a fun like kind of switch on just being heroes beating up bad guys all the time. But anyways,
Yeah.
HeroClix Series 1 D&D coming later this year.
Yeah. We'll have a link down in the show notes for you guys to check it out yourselves. It
Mm-hmm.
looks pretty interesting. I'll definitely check it out. And speaking of D&D news, holy cow, the hits just keep coming. Now, apparently, Dark Horse has announced a new D&D comic. Um, I looked at it a little bit. I did not know this was on the horizon. So apparently, WotC has been holding their cards pretty close to their chest. I looked at the link that Steven sent over to me, and I was pretty excited about the concept. The concept is going to be five monsters working collaboratively to try to escape a dungeon where they have been imprisoned by the spells of a dark wizard.
Mm-hmm.
The I can remember four of the monsters. You guys have to forgive me.
I've
I don't
got
remember
them.
the rest.
I've got them. If you want
Okay,
me to.
so I know one is a gelatinous cube,
Mm-hmm.
one is a death knight,
Yep.
one is a mind flayer,
Yep.
one is a baby beholder. What was
Yep.
the fifth one, Steven?
A werewolf.
Oh, we're a lycanthrope. That's right,
Yep.
lycanthrope. So these five monsters are working collaboratively. Don't ask me how they're going to speak to the gelatinous cube. I'm assuming that that's where the mind flayer comes in.
Yeah.
But it looks super cool. The cover art, Steven will put it up over here somewhere
Mm-hmm.
you guys can
I
see it.
really like the
It's
cover art.
the cover art. It's a little cartoony for me, but it does look interesting. I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to check it out. I haven't picked up a comic in years, but I will definitely check this one out because I mean it's D&D. Come on, that's a
Mm-hmm.
no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a link in the show notes for you guys to check that out too. It definitely looks interesting. I think anything we can do to support our community, we should probably, if we can, do it.
Yep.
Let's talk about some Kickstarters. So a few months ago, you guys might remember, it's probably been about 6 months ago, we talked about a Kickstarter that I backed because I'm a huge Tolkien nerd. I love the story of Moria and how it
Mm-hmm.
was lost. A Kickstarter came out called Dungeons Deep in Caverns Old, which is basically set. They had it set up where you could play it like as its own standalone game or 5e compatible. I obviously went with the 5e compatible one since that's mostly what we play, and it is amazing. It is kind of very similar to the Mines of Moria. It's an abandoned dwarven kingdom that you don't have any idea why it was abandoned. It's been forgotten because it's been gone for so long. and your party basically finds a map to it, and you go to explore. And it's just a great adventure that's set up. It's a large, thick book. It was paperback, but it was a great book, and I was super excited for it. I was a little disappointed when I got to the end that it ended a little abruptly, and I'm like, gosh, I hope they put out another one. Well, surprise, surprise, they have announced a second part called Dungeons Deep in Caverns Old Secrets of the Dark Waters.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to put up a picture of the cover here for you guys. It is interesting because it does look a little bit like the Lurker and the Deep outside
Yeah,
of
the
Moria.
Watcher in the water. It's definitely
Yeah, the Watcher in the water.
it is very much inspired by that creature for sure.
Yes. It looks like that. It looks like the Watcher in the water had an illegitimate love child with something out of a Cthulhu nightmare.
It
So it's pretty interesting.
looks
The
great.
art
It
grabbed
looks great.
the art grabbed me and pulled me in. But supposedly this is going to delve into the second Hall of Splendor. It's going to have a new adventure. It's going to have new heroes and hardship rules, and there's going to be expanded lore for the setting. I am super excited for it. We don't have a launch date yet. As soon as we do, we'll let you guys know. But we do have a link down in the show notes for you guys, so you can go over and click on that button to notify you on launch if you're interested. But it does look super cool, so let's check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to try to do something a little off the norm for us, which we are heavy into fantasy, TTRPGs, and things like that. But we do love our sci-fi, and there is something out called Legitimate Salvage, a Forbidden Zone sci-fi game. And basically, you play as a four-person salvage team that are trying to work off your debt to a company that refuses to pay hazard pay unless somebody dies. So it's a TTRPG. It's a mini game where you can play solo or cooperatively. It's meant to be played on the tabletop with miniatures and maps.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it's something that's kind of right up our alley. And it's usable in the Mork board and the Death in Space TTRPG settings. So looks pretty exciting. I'm kind of interested in the solo concept and the team concept. Um, because people are going to split the party. I mean, you tell them not to, and do it anyway. So that looks like that's got some potential. So we'll have a link for you guys down in the notes.
I
So
will say
yeah,
huge shout out to them. They're at $32,000 and they only asked for 5K.
yeah, they're
Um,
they're way over. I mean, it looks fun to me. It looks interesting. When I saw the art
I
that
was
they
about to say
had
the
on the
art style is
cover,
incredible. Yeah.
the art style was incredible. I immediately thought Dead Space,
Mm-hmm.
and then I immediately thought of all those old sci-fi comics from like the 60s and
Mm-hmm.
70s with like the skeletal people in like spacesuits abandoned on some
Yeah,
distant
like
planet.
dystopian space vibe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will
that
say.
immediately.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
There's a game called Barotrauma that is about it's like a retro futuristic underwater game where you're in a submarine made to go in like the Mariana Trench, and the whole
Okay.
game is like you're repairing your sub and going further in, but the farther down in the ocean you go more insane. So like
Oh,
everything
okay.
starts to look really distorted and it's really like it's a super hard game. The art reminds me a lot of that, like a kind of like a dystopian explorer, salvager,
Yeah.
mechanic style thing. I'll
Yeah.
put pictures up of the art. It's super cool. It's right up my alley. I love sci-fi, especially when it's in this like retro futuristic, like grim dark setting. It's just super cool.
It does look super cool. Let's talk about some pop culture.
Hmm.
The Apprentice would love to talk about one of his favorite games that he needs to get back to at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point.
Yep.
Let's talk about it, Steve.
So D4 is getting season 12. It's a big season. There's a lot of things going on inside of the season.
Oh,
A
yes.
lot of changes, a lot of good changes. This season is called the Season of Slaughter. They've
Hmm.
added for the season. The mechanic is a kill streak system. So as you're running
Hmm.
around and like racking up a bunch of kills, you're like amping yourself up, and it's all about going fast, killing lots of monsters. Which at the end of the day, that's what Diablo 4 is, right?
Right.
Um, this game is like in my opinion, it's like a testament to a dev team that just continues to stay consistent. Where when the game
Hmm.
came out, there was a lot of mixed opinion. There still is. I mean, a lot of people
There is.
when they encounter a game, if it's not exactly what they want on day one, they leave, and that's their right. They're consumers; they can do that.
Yes.
But this game has only gotten better the longer it's been out, and I think season 12 is right up there with some of the best seasons. It looks super fun. All the classes look fun. Every class has its own very good build, at least one build. This is the season that's going to butt you right into the expansion, which is in April.
Right.
That's the Lord of Hatred expansion. That's the whole entire skill tree rework, which my only real complaint of the game right now is that there's a lot of passive points where
There are.
as you're leveling your character, it's like you get to a skill node. Like if you're me and you're playing druid, you get pulverized. You're like, hell yeah, I got pulverized. And to make pulverized strong, you got to buy all these earth skill nodes and all these earth sign
Yeah.
skill nodes. Well, they are reworking the skill tree now to basically make it like 98% active skill
Okay.
focused. So instead of, getting pulverized and putting like 10 passive points into a bunch of perks that you don't necessarily feel the shift when you get that point. It's not like, oh, now I really feel like I'm hitting harder. It's really just kind of
Right.
like this slow burn. Whereas
Hmm.
now, after the expansion, there's going to be a lot of like, maybe you get pulverized, and then the next point you put into pulverize, when you hit it, it goes in a straight line instead of like right in front of you, and then like it might change the damage to fire damage or something. I mean, they're really trying to just amp up the creativity, which I love. Um,
Right.
but that's the expansion. This season looks great. It's probably going to get me back into it. I've just been so busy. I really haven't had a ton of time for games. But Diablo's such an easy game to just jump in, especially if you've already leveled a character to 60, because you can skip the campaign and get right into the seasonal content. So I
Yeah.
will check it out. If when I do, I will get some posts out in the Apprentice Corner for you guys to look at. But that game just gets better and better. So if you're into fantasy, hack and slash, dungeon stuff like we are, it's probably a good one. It's always on sale. So
Always on sale, and there's always expansions and stuff for it, and they're cranking out some character content, so check it out.
yeah, and I did want to
Uh,
give a shout out to a smaller game that not a lot of people know about. The sequel came out to a game that I loved called Slay the Spire. And Slay the
mhm.
Spire is a turn-based RPG combat game, and it's got some focus on deck building. So as you go up in this mage's spire, this mage's tower, you get
Mhm.
power ups. You get these things called artifacts, which kind of affect your entire run for the whole run. And then as you go, you either discard or gain new cards. And then each turn, you get a hand of cards to play, and that
Right.
affects the abilities you can use. So it's kind of like a turn-based RPG with a deck building system like Magic built into it. Um, the first game was, in my opinion, one of the best games of that genre maybe ever. Which admittedly, roguelite is already a smaller genre, and then this expands on that even more so. So there's not a lot of games like Slay the Spire.
Right.
But the second one came out, and they added four-player co-op, which is the only thing I wanted the
Awesome.
first game to have. Because like I was like,
Yeah.
man, imagine if I'm playing like this cleric character, and I can get all support cards and heal my teammate, buff him up, and have this huge like barbarian just swinging everything down. Well,
Hmm.
I guess that was something everyone said because they've added co-op. Um, the first game right now is on sale for $6. I mean, it's hundreds of hours. I mean,
That's
because once you
that's
get to the top,
crazy for a game.
well, and like once you get to the top of the spire, if you have enough damage or have enough stats, you kill the mad mage or whatever the boss was called. I haven't played it in like a few years, but
Hmm.
if you fail, you have to start all over and build your character back up. So it's almost like it got
Okay.
replayable. Like every time you play, the cards you get are going to be different. The character you play can be different. The monsters you run into are going to be different. So it's different every single time. Um,
That's pretty cool. I like that.
yeah, it's and like the deck building adds like another layer of customization to it, and then it's just like a endlessly replayable game. The second game is out. It just came out. It's only $20, and it's four players. So like that changes up everything completely again. Where it's like, oh, one guy can be like a tank character, because when you're playing alone, you kind of have to build like massive damage to try to get through it by yourself. But now maybe you can have like a support style cleric character, and then like a tank, and then have like your DPS dealers and stuff. So I think that's
Right.
awesome. They've listened to the community. They put it out. They're not charging a lot of money for it. It is kind of a niche
Yes.
thing, so there's not a lot of games like it. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'll have this link to the Steam page for you. You can check it out.
Check it out. It looks amazing, and $6 is the right
Yeah, I
price.
mean, dude, like we're talking about Call of
So
Duty's $100 every year, or you can buy this game, which is $6, and you can
it's
play it
less.
for
Hundreds of hours of content.
yeah,
It's
it's
awesome.
it's great.
So I'm going to try not to hyperventilate. I am trying so hard not to get excited. Anybody who knows me, anybody who's watched this podcast knows I am a huge fan of a little sci-fi western
Hmm.
called Firefly.
Yep.
I'm a brown coat. I have been a brown coat since the show's first premiered
Since I
back in
was a kid.
2001.
Yeah.
Yep. Back in early 2001, I watched the show on Fox, even though Fox mistreated it. Fox treated it like an unwanted, unloved, redheaded stepchild,
Hmm.
and it it took on a massive following, and it went away. Fox killed it. It lasted 13 episodes, and it was gone. 3 years later, we got a movie called Serenity that Universal took a chance on, and it did not do as well as we would have liked. It did great. Both of them did great on DVD and rental.
Hmm.
but we didn't get much else from the first. We got some comics, we got some books. The books were good, the comics were good. But recently, anybody with their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the nerd community has seen Nathan Fillion of The Rookie on ABC and We Were Once Spacemen with Alan Tudyk, their podcast that they run.
Mm.
He has been showing up at the front doors or the trailer doors of every single member of the cast for the past 3 or 4 weeks,
Mm.
knocking on their doors, basically alluding to the fact that they're going to do something. They don't say what. Um, but the last person they reached out to was Alan Tudyk. And I'm like, okay, well, his character's dead. He died in Serenity. How's that going to work? People have been speculating it's a reunion. People have been speculating it's a convention. People have been speculating it's a spinoff. And Nathan said, this is what you have guessed. You're wrong. But we're making an announcement Sunday, March 15th, tomorrow. They are making an announcement. That announcement is taking place at AwesomeCon, which is going on this weekend. I am on most of the Firefly boards on Facebook, and I went online, did a little research. I'm like, they're going to announce it at this convention. Nathan is there. Then I looked. The entire cast is listed as guests, with the exception of Gina Torres and Adam Baldwin. But being the snoop that I am, I went on Facebook and I looked, and a lot of browncoats are on there posting photos of them with the entire cast, with the exception of Adam Baldwin. So Gina Torres showed up. She's taking photos, and I am trying hard not to get excited. I really am. I fell hard when Firefly died off, but I'm catching some of that enthusiasm. But we will let you guys know as soon as we know. I'll have a short up immediately following the announcement, so be on the lookout for that to let you guys know what's happening, if anything, in the Firefly verse.
I think if it was something very minor like a reunion tour or something
I don't think there would have been all this build up.
they would, because they know that how much people care about this franchise. If you build it up like this and then just be like, oh, we're gonna do a podcast, oh, we're gonna do a reunion tour for 6 months, they know people are gonna be like, oh man. So I feel like to hype it up, to go through all the work to get videos of everyone meeting up again and like, it is something. What that something is, I don't know.
And to be announcing it at AwesomeCon.
Yeah, to go to a convention and to get everybody to come. Oh, dude, yeah.
Big win for the fans that are going to be in attendance, because I can only imagine whatever Firefly panel they have tomorrow, the line for that thing is going to be around
It's going to be crazy, yeah.
People will be waiting for hours to get into that convention to see what's going to happen.
I'm very interested to see what they do. I think it's going to be bigger than we allow ourselves to be hyped for right now.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be bigger than that, because why go through all of this, especially after all this time? Fireflies, so
my money is on one of two things.
Yeah.
They obviously can't do a prequel to Serenity because
they're too old.
It's been 21 years. It's been 21 years since Serenity. Well, no, it's been a long. Yeah, 21 years since Serenity. Serenity came out in 2003. So it's been 23 years. It can't be a sequel.
Nope.
I don't think it could be a sequel because they wouldn't have Alan Tudyk involved, because his character died.
Unless he's doing voice acting for himself.
Unless
like if he's doing like, people are thinking about him or whatever, and he gives a voice, maybe
flashbacks, things like that, possibly.
Or flashback.
Or and my guess is this is probably the more likely scenario. We'll see if I'm wrong. You guys can hold me accountable. I'm thinking anime.
They could all be doing voices for an anime or an animated movie.
And the anime could be a prequel to Serenity. What happened between Firefly and Serenity? Further adventures before Serenity.
And obviously they could use their voices no matter how old they are to do that,
They certainly can.
And honestly,
that's why I'm thinking
I'd be okay with that. That wouldn't even be bad. Like, that wouldn't even be, for me, that wouldn't be like a loss, because at least it's more content. And honestly,
totally okay with an anime, because it's going to be cheaper on production. It's going to be no special effects.
Yeah.
And look how successful it's been for Critical Role.
I was going to say, I feel like if it's an anime, it'll be more successful than if they reboot it as a live action. I think it would do both. I think it would do more. I
don't think you would get anybody to take a chance on them as a live action unless it was like a smaller network, maybe Netflix.
Yeah. And like we've already gone through, like they've already gone through, like I feel like nobody's up for going through that again.
No, I'm not. I don't think that my heart could handle it. So let's get into some extra loot, because we got to wrap up here soon. I've got a couple questions, because I watched 3 different videos and listened to a podcast about the Tomb of Annihilation. If you are a Dungeons and Dragons fan, you know about the Tomb of Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
It was the murder dungeon created by Gary Gygax. He created it because his players at his table had gotten so powerful and so high level, they walked through everything he threw at them. And they laughed and scoffed about how they were invincible. So Gary sat down and he made a dungeon that was so deadly that people would actually go to conventions and like Origins, and they would play this dungeon and try to see how many of them could survive. And only one group ever legitimately beat the dungeon. They won an award, and they talked about it for years on how they successfully beat the dungeon. Tomb of Annihilation is a tough dungeon. It's a dungeon that is merciless. It is filled with traps and things that are set there specifically to destroy parties, to wear their resources, and to basically put them up against it just to see how tough they are and how far they can go.
Mm-hmm.
I've never personally played it. I have a copy of it. I would love to run it. And so my question to the apprentice is, if we leveled your guys up for a 1 or 2 shot where we
Mm-hmm.
were to try out the Tomb of Annihilation, do you think you and the boys would be up to giving it a shot?
Yeah, so I love what I consider that. So I consider that kind of content like capstone content. This is a gear
Mm-hmm.
check, damage check, knowledge
Mm-hmm.
check. I think it's cool. And I think it's kind of scary for some people, especially when you're talking about your character that you've played forever. But maybe you could spin it like, it's in the astral plane where our characters go there, and it's not really us, but we go inside of something like a Tomb of Annihilation as like a
Mm-hmm.
testing grounds to win some favor of some deity or something. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like gives you the experience without being like, oh, if you die, you're dead, you're done,
Yeah,
you know.
your party's toast, yeah.
So, but I love capstone content like that. So I would love
Okay.
it. I'd love the thought of kind of this is meant to punish you. I play a lot of really really hard games because I find more,
Yeah.
it's just more rewarding, right?
Yeah. I mean, what is reward without risk? So
Exactly.
we'll keep you guys posted because we may be playing this game at
Hell
some
yeah.
point in the near future.
Hell yeah.
Um, Diceless TTRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually contacted by a young man from Brazil and his partner in the UK. We had a conference call on Wednesday for a little game called Slayer, which uses a system called Flow, Flow, which is based on a book called The Black, which I've never heard of, never read it.
Me either.
Apparently, very popular overseas. And it's kind of a post apocalyptic game where aliens come along and use Earth as their personal dumping ground. They just dump all kinds of crap here. And it basically leads to a wasteland type of environment where the players go out in the environment and they're trying to find supplies to survive, technology that might have been discarded that they can use, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that interests me is it's a diceless TTRPG. So it's basically kind of a narrative driven, role play driven game where the game master will present a situation. The players look at their character sheets, figure out what resources or skills they have. They come up with a plan, tell the DM this is how we want to tackle it, and then the GM lets them know whether or not they're successful, just based off role play and skills. And then you move the story forward or move it in it like almost like an endless quest type book.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
the
love that
concept
idea.
is
I love that
the
idea.
concept is interesting to me. I told them that I will absolutely roll test this game. So I'm supposed to have it's in Portuguese right now. The quick start rules are in Portuguese, but they are translated to English for me. So I should have a copy by end of next week, maybe first part of the following week. So we can look that over and I'll run it past the master and apprentice group and see if they're wanting to try a 1 shot so we can give them some feedback on it. So
100%. Yeah, I'm sure we will.
definitely a collaboration, and it's a smaller group. It's people from outside the U.S. I love helping out smaller group and smaller content creators get their name out there, get their game out there. They're wanting to do a Kickstarter at some point in the future to do a Stalker second edition, so we're going to see what we can do to help them out. So,
While we're talking
so diceless TTRPG, Stephen. Yes, no,
so
interest
I
in
say
not.
yes. I love the idea of diceless and also of like theater of the mind games because
Mm-hmm.
again, we've talked about this before, but like that's removing barriers to entry, right? Like, oh, you need your
Mm-hmm.
dice. Oh, you need like a VTT or some kind of board or somebody that knows
Right.
terrain or all this stuff. Whereas if you can play it basically just talking to each other and working out scenarios with each other, not having to roll a bunch of dice, I think that's kind of a fun way to get into the game, understand the game at a fundamental level. And
Right.
somebody that doesn't have all the stuff and accoutrements they need to play, they can just jump right into a game. I mean, that is a TTRPG boiled down to its essential elements. You just walk into a room and start talking to your friends. That is
Right.
that's the entire point. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. So look for us to kind of give you some more information about Stalker as we
Hmm.
get more information. And we will send you guys some links to their website and to their different socials so you guys can check them out. It looks like it's definitely an interesting game. I'm interested in trying to find a copy of this book now, read it series. So
Hmm.
I'll add that to my very large reading list. But anyway, that is what we're going to leave you guys with tonight. Um, we appreciate you guys joining with us. We love having you guys here in the maze. We love talking to you. We love all 53 of our subscribers, and we
Yep.
hope to grow that number as we continue to kind of reach out to the community and get more volume. We had posted up some shorts, including a short from our Kingdom of Keshinar game last night. I kind of did a little introduction where I had each of the players introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about their characters. Check that out over on our YouTube channel. We will have a link in the Discord for you down here in the show notes for you guys. It's already over 1,000 views, which blows me away.
Hmm.
We love the fact that people are seeing it, and we hope that you guys are as excited about that content as we are. So give it a like, give us a subscribe if you haven't already done so, share with friends, jump into the conversation. Let us know you guys are out there and what you're looking for. We appreciate each and every one of you and your continued support. With that, we will leave you guys. Happy Saturday night. Have a great rest of your weekend. To quote my friend Jim over at the Old Warlock, keep your sword on free, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye.